meantime, Austin, if you are interested in co-hosting the AMA with me, you're welcome. If you just want to raise your hand. If not, then that's totally cool too. I know I'm putting you on the spot. Austin, you got the beats going?
Yeah, look at that. Give me the beat. Give me the beat again.
I clicked the accept button and I forgot to mute my mic. I'm in here like fixing up my studio, so I got to be jamming, man.
Oh, that's funny. How you guys doing?
Good. Busy at the moment. Yeah, this is 2 of 3 AMAs for us today. So yeah, it's all kicking off.
Yeah, no, I feel you there. I think on Tuesday next week we have 2 AMAs and then got a couple big potential partnership calls, like massive projects that most people here have probably heard of. And then Mina asked one of us if we want to hop on the live stream with you guys on Tuesday morning or morning our time. So we're like, of course we would.
Whoa. We haven't given the time for the pre-sale yet.
Oh, was I not supposed to say that?
You get all the alpha right here.
Oh, there's an event in your server. Was that like only viewable to certain people? Yeah.
Really? Oh, maybe I just don't know.
You should drop an alpha on yourself.
Maybe I just haven't been told. I wasn't aware of that. Let's have a look.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I can spoil something.
No. It's got 0000. It's got no time confirmed on it yet.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
it's no biggie anyway. I'm just kidding, mate.
Well, long story short, Tuesday is going to be a full day, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Definitely. So you're going to be at the pre-sale party.
I will be. I think Austin will be there too, so it's going to be a full party.
Austin?
Oh, you know I'm coming.
You coming? Are you going to host it, Austin? You're the best.
Dude, I can't host it sadly, but I'll be there.
Okay. So Mina can host it. So the last time we did an AMA with you guys, our chart absolutely pumped like crazy pumped. We had a guy just buying. I say a guy. I know who it was now, but at the time I didn't, and he was just pumping in like 10 B&B buys like every couple of minutes apart, one after the other, and we were back down. I think about 0.005 was our price at the time. Xenia had been recently launched, and it was insane. I remember so many people at that time saying, well, I'll wait for the dip now, and we touched 1.2 cents last night. So no pressure, Zach. Obviously, I'm coming here with the same expectations from today's AMA that we're gonna get like a 30% pump.
Well, you guys did do a little dip this morning, so I think we might see a rally if we do a Cardinal House rally here.
You guys heard it here first. Send in the buys. Deploy all B&B right now. We got to get that chart pumping, or we're going to disappoint them.
Our volume's been really good, actually, really good. When you look around the market, Yeah, our volume's been really good, but also great to see people selling and taking profits. So yeah, it's been interesting. I just want to, before we get going, because I know we do this like small talk before the start, like shout out to Wayne again, because I met Wayne in person for the first time ever yesterday. Wayne, I don't know whether he's still at Titano, but he was at Titano, and he's like a DeFi celebrity to me. So I was like a kid yesterday when he just turned up, and I could see like the real human Wayne. So shout out to you, mate.
Yeah, Wayne is a great guy.
In person?
Yeah, he brought that he's like a lion. He's got all this hair, and he's these chiseled looks.
Awesome.
He was there actually, like camera on.
Yeah, I told Wayne whenever I first seen him, right? I was like, dude, you look like just like your profile picture. Like, some people use like little characters and stuff in their profile picture. I was like, you pretty much resemble what your little animated profile picture looks like.
Yeah, to be fair, like I'm sure Wayne is listening to this because he's in the crowd, but 30 people. But he I don't know whether he might want to confirm this in the chat, in the AMA questions chat. I remember the really early days of Titano. I remember Wayne had a different profile picture and he changed it. And I was one of the people. People assumed the profile picture was a little bit feminine, and people assumed he's a woman. If you see him in person, he's obviously a very manly man. So he quickly changed that profile picture out. True story.
Wayne, I did not know this about you.
Yeah, go on, tell us, Wayne. Say it's true. Yeah, do you want to know like a bit of self-deprecation, because we're British and we like to do that? A true story. I offered Wayne a job and he told me to get lost. Yeah. That's a true story as well.
That's funny. He's got his own platform to work on now. For those of you who don't know, CoinLogic.
Is that what TCL is? Let's get Wayne up. Let's do 30 minutes on TCL before we get going.
You want to?
No, I'm kidding. That's pretty sarcasm.
I had to double check. I wasn't quite sure. But yeah, we can go ahead and get started. So the way that we usually start off our AMAs is through a series of rapid fire questions. I think we actually started this off with our last AMA with you guys, and it worked out really well, and people seem to really enjoy it. So we've done it literally every single AMA since then.
How does it work with everyone else?
It's usually just, we rapid fire off 10 questions, get some good conversation going, good laughs, and you get to know the team a little bit better too, and it's just a good time. Yeah, a little bit different than just asking, "What's your role at the team?" Something simple like that.
Yeah, no, I love it. And Austin's become like this monster of difficult questions. We had an AMA in our server of another project, and yeah, it was like the Shark Tank in our AMA questions, like him and their project lead directly.
I gotta make him sweat, man. We gotta get some real answers out here.
Very good. When's your Austin? You've got sorry, not to shield, because you've shielded other projects now, Zach, so I can shield other bits of content. What, Austin? When is your get together? EAM and your bonks. He's doing his giveaway of the NFT. Is that tonight?
That is. Yeah, we do. So anybody listening, we do a little podcast on EAM and Yabonx's channel. We just do a little live stream, just talk about everything. It's literally called money. It's called crypto, money, and everything else, right? So we talk about all things money. Obviously, we talk about crypto, and he's going to be giving away a Phoenix NFT that he acquired on the Phoenix party that we did on my channel. So that'll be fun. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so in 2 hours.
There you go. And can people still enter to try and win that NFT? It's worth like what, $1,500 about. So it's juicy giveaway.
Yeah.
Austin?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I said no. I don't know if they can or not. I'm not sure. I can message your box here. Maybe get it.
Check out your Bong's channel. A chance to win a very coveted, very rare Phoenix Fire Club NFT that your bonks has already earned from, because he's had it for a little while, and then but it's still worth more than when it started, and it'll pay you rewards for life. So it's a good giveaway.
All right, yeah, that's super sweet. Looking forward to that. But without further ado, we should probably go ahead and get started. We're already 10 minutes past 1:00 my time. First question on the rapid fire set is MDB plus or Phoenix plus. If you had to go all in on one and hold it for say 5 years, what would you choose?
You can't hold Phoenix plus for 5 years. Well, you can. You'd have to be like mega lucky because of the way it works. But I'd choose Phoenix plus hands down at the moment for sure, because it'll get you into Infinity for a start. You can buy your Infinity pre-sale with it, and secondly, worst case is you earn a load of APY and then get cashed out to MDB plus, which isn't a bad place to be. So yeah, Phoenix plus all the way.
Okay. I like it. I'll have to learn a little bit more about what Phoenix plus does, because I have like a brief overview, but I haven't done like a deep dive into all the new additional ecosystem pieces that you guys have put together. I'm very familiar with MDB, MDB plus, Gravity, and all those things that we've talked about in our first few AMAs, but you guys have developed a lot since then, so I'm excited to hear about it. The next question is Brent Straition or Hazy, as far as content creators go.
Brent Straition. What, as in Brent, as in like, you're right, my lover? That Brent?
Yeah, yep, that's the one.
I couldn't remember his surname. I don't know. They're both like, if like maybe because you're not British, like Hazy sounds like a stoned American and Brent sounds like a stoned British person. So the content is very similar, actually.
That's a good analysis.
Yeah, do you know, I've only ever watched one of Brent's videos, so I'm going to go for Hazy.
All right. Shout out to Hazy. Next
Hazy's
question.
retired now anyway. He's Mr. Lover. He's not interested in content.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh no! Did he give up the YouTube life?
Not officially, but he's met a lady. You know, she's taken over, and that's it. We know the story.
Interesting. I have not heard that story yet.
Zach
I'll have
doesn't
to
know
talk to him.
what's going on, whereas everyone here is pretty
don't.
much from our community, and they all know what we're talking about, apart from Wayne.
Everybody's saying "Rip Hazy" in the chat.
That's funny. Next question is: if you had to go all in on one, would you choose EMP or yield nodes?
Quick fire questions. I'd have to choose yield nodes. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, it's a tough one. I wouldn't want to go all in on either. It's a really stupid thing to do. But you know, just purely one's been going for 30 months, and yeah, as an off-chain revenue stream, so I'd have to go with yield nodes, albeit it's like a 5149. I love EMP. It's one of my favorite projects, favorite teams as well.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. And the only thing that would change my answer from yield nodes to EMP would be if AJ was in the audience, but he's not, so we're good.
I've got an AMA with him later. I'm a dead man.
All right, movies or shows?
Movies.
Okay, most people actually say shows. The audience agrees on shows.
Because they want to look cultured. It's bullshit.
That's true. We had somebody just change their answer as you said that. That's funny. Books or podcasts?
Books.
All right. The community agrees, except for one person. So shout out to who is that? Jojo. He likes podcasts. All right. Would you rather be able to speak or only be able to speak or only be able to hear?
Here. So I'm trying to think. I paused because I was trying to think of the mechanics of it. I think definitely here.
Okay. Any particular reason?
I think if you don't, like, at the end of the day, you hear yourself speak, right? So if you couldn't hear, then you wouldn't even be able to hear yourself communicate anyway. So it's completely pointless being able to speak, quite frankly. And you've got two ears and one mouth, as they say. Something I need to remember more. And so yeah, if it's one or the other, then you learn with your ears, right? Not with your mouth.
All right, I like it. In person or online poker? What do you think you'd be better at, I should say?
Equally bad. I'd say I do in person.
Okay, you just go all in on in person and online. Doesn't really change much.
Yeah, it's just funny in person because I think people are trying to read you, but it's difficult to read someone who doesn't really care.
That's true. That's true. Would you rather be locked outside or shut inside for the rest of your life?
Locked outside.
Okay. Interesting. Most people do say locked outside. That's a tough question. I don't know what I'd say yet. How about you, Austin?
Yeah, I'd say locked out. It just depends on the situation. Like, where am I being locked out, locked in, right? Because I just click shut in because if it's where I'm at right now, I would just rather be in the comfort of my home. But like, if I was like in say Colorado or something where I like hiking, then it would probably be outside.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm surprised that more people said outside than inside, given that half of us probably haven't touched grass for like 3 weeks.
Bro, grass is a rarity to crypto folk. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. All right, swing trading or buying and holding?
Buying and holding.
All right, we got one person voting for swing trading. So peasant for hire is just an absolute degen when it comes to his investments. And the last question, work life aside, where would you see yourself in 30 years?
I'm a lot older than you, Zach. I'll be my health will probably be deteriorating in 30 years. I'll be 68, so I'll probably spend the rest of my time sat in a pub, to be honest. If I can't go out and be active.
Fair enough. How about you, Austin? It's a good question.
Where do I see myself in 30 years? So that would make me, let's do some math here.
Where would you
So
like to see yourself?
55, definitely see myself like having the ability to make content, and that's literally it. Like, I got my real estate portfolio, I got my crypto stuff, just all this different avenues of business that I aspire to do. It's just passive income where I just wake up and click the record button. I think that's where I would see myself. Like, if we're talking location, probably Texas. I like Texas. That's where I want to end up.
Okay. I like it. But yeah, those are all the rapid fire questions. So if anybody has any other questions that they'd like to ask, go right ahead. Otherwise, let's get into talking about what you guys have been working on the last month or so since we've last spoken with you guys, and talk a little bit about Infinity, because I know that's the big thing coming up here soon. So I'm super stoked for that.
Yeah. Well, it's an absolute monster, and I think we could talk all night about all of the different elements of our ecosystem. But we have a main token, we have a couple of stable backed assets, and they all help each other, but they all feed back into MDB, which is built on this capital synergy model. I'm not going to bore everybody for the millionth time, but really that's. When you look at our chart, it hasn't been all perfect. When it's been down, you'll notice that it kind of reaches this natural bottom, and it reaches this natural bottom because, there's mathematical limitations within our model. So very difficult for our token to spend a lot of time below the pre-sale price. Some could argue that maybe we set the pre-sale price too low, but it means that we've got a lot of happy customers as well. So Infinity really is a final piece in the jigsaw that's much more aggressive than anything else we have. It's got lots of unique elements. It's paired with Phoenix Plus, which is an absolute monster. I think our TVL for Phoenix Plus has jumped up to 1.1 million. There's a lot of static capital in there at the moment. In a week's time, that's going to go absolutely berserk. You're going to see $1 million plus easily, maybe 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 million dollars move out of there very quickly. You're going to see Infinity launch, and Infinity has a skinny LP, very aggressive fund backing it, huge volatility, but you can stake it, or you can own an NFT, or you can trade it, and it has very low taxes as well. So if you want to go for the whole risky method, then I think seeing 50% pumps or dumps in a day will be very normal. I think seeing multiple X's, certainly on launch day, will be the standard. Seeing multiple X's, probably, many times over the month, up or down, is still completely possible because the mechanics and how aggressive it is. And because of the low taxes, some people will speculate, they'll cash out a decent sum, but if they decide to pump that sum back in because it's dipped really hard, then it's going to be really volatile. But above all of that excitement, you've also got the opportunity to stake those Infinity tokens and earn MDB rewards. MDB has to be bought by the Infinity Fund and then distributed out to the stakers. We announced yesterday that in today's money at the moment, it's about $33,000 of MDB is going to be pushed out in the first week of staking for Infinity. So whilst there will be these huge pumps, which are very tempting to try and capitalize on, at the same time, there will be huge staking rewards pumping into the system from the off. Or there's a much, much, much safer option. You can buy just an Infinity NFT. They're on public sale. Everything else is on whitelist until launch. But you can buy one of the NFTs, and the NFT is like locked staking, if you like. It has 5,000 Infinity tokens dedicated to it, and it will pay you out staking rewards for owning the NFT, which you can claim from our DApp Xenia. It will pay you out at the same ratio as owning 5,000 tokens and having them staked, if that makes sense. So yeah, Infinity will be an absolute monster, absolute machine. It will drive Phoenix Plus. It will drive MDB Plus. It will drive MDB. It will be breakneck. But there is also an extremely safe play. We do like to have sort of this worst case scenario in anything that we design. And because it's paired with this hyper appreciating LP, it's very efficient. So there's no cash going to the team or anything from buy and sell taxes. It's all in the ecosystem there. And yeah, you're going to have this LP that's probably going to be running at 4-figure APY from the off. So even, it would just be insane. But that also means that you could buy Phoenix Plus, which is a stable backed asset, and be seeing 4-figure APY and something that has a 2% buy and sell tax with a risk of being cashed out. So it's, I think in short, if you can go and look at the Infinity videos, get a feel for it. I think we've got a friend around the industry, Guardian of DeFi, who's gone off on one and started spouting stuff and made a video recently. Then immerse yourself in it, because next week's just going to be absolutely mental.
Got it. So I'm curious to hear, how skinny of an LP are we talking? Like, if I were to put like a $500 buy in on launch, what's that price impact going to be like?
It depends what's happened before and after, right? It depends what's happened before at that point. We're talking, so the fund would be at least 20 times the size of the LP. The LP will be 5% of the market cap, which actually, yeah, sorry, no. Yeah, it'll be 5% when you count native and also Phoenix Plus in there. So it'll be fairly skinny. Quite frankly, I don't want to point any fingers. It will still be a healthier LP than many tokens within our industry, quite frankly. But in MDB terms and sort of much more sort of like stable LP terms, it will be extremely aggressive. But then you'll have this fund that, if we use round numbers, you've got an LP there of 100K, half of that is the Phoenix Plus. And then you've got this fund of, maybe 1.15, 1.2 million. And this huge buy pressure straight away from launch, and this fund that's generating, our goal is for the fund to generate between 8 and 12% on a monthly basis. And then And that fund, where it's very different to MDB, is that the fund is designed to accumulate over time whilst also supporting the growth of MDB. Where Infinity is very different, is the fund is designed to maintain. So if the fund has a great month and makes 15%, your LP's 50k, for instance, and the fund makes 150 and it makes 50k in taxes, then that's going to be 4 times the LP being pumped in, either to buy MDB, distributed staking rewards, or pumped directly into Infinity itself. Plus, all of that volume will be growing the LP organically, because it's not like being paired to BNB or Matic or something like that when it's volatile. And it's not even like being paired to BUSD, which is static. It's paired to something that can only appreciate in value. So the LP itself will be driving up the inherent value of the token, as well as all of this like crazy buy and sell action going on around it.
Got it. And it sounds like there's going to be a lot of excitement and a lot of stuff going around the Infinity token. Like, just, it's going to be, from what it sounds like, a pretty hectic, and price shooting up and crashing back down, just to shoot back up again and to crash back down, and just be very volatile, like you said. So definitely interesting.
The way it's designed, it should, because it's hyper deflationary, it will deflate at a ridiculous rate. The LP is then growing largely organically. The LP then also grows because of other people holding Phoenix Plus, because it's a stable based asset with APYs that nobody's ever seen on a stable backed asset, right? You see 1,000% on something that can't depreciate in value. That's going to bring in a lot of new faces. So you combine all of that, whilst there will be volatility up and down, I think the trend line overall will move in an upwards direction because of the way it's designed. But yeah, no, look, I think I have to be absolutely clear with people. You could times 3, times 4, times 5 in a day. You could, if you fancy yourself as a trader, you could make ridiculous gains moving in and out. But reward comes with risk. So it's only for adults. It's not, it's not for kids. It's not for people who just want to ape in and then cry if they pick the wrong moment. Huge rewards, but it comes with a bit of risk as well.
Got it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Danny, but I think this is a really cool thing, and this literally just like came to me, where in the DeFi space for the longest time, the biggest thing that we've seen that's being promoted, and the kind of the common trend in the deep DeFi space, is people just are looking for passive income. And something unique that I feel like you guys have just made here is, instead of passive income, this is a tool for like a day trader or just swing trading in general, kind of like a dream, right? We've never really seen a project before that is made for trading, and like you said, 2x, 3x, 4x, whatever. We've never seen a product like that where it's made for that, right? We've seen products made in the DeFi space for passive income, and people still try to, I guess, maybe swing trade or day trade these weird, crazy passive income plays. But this is designed for that, right? Where you're like, hey, do you want to try to time it, or if you do want to buy and hold it, you're going to see, like you said, some crazy fluctuations, where if you're holding it long term, you may see some crazy paper losses, but then you may see some crazy paper gains as well. This is very volatile, but it does appeal to the people that maybe want to try trading and stuff like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. But you got to remember, so 15% of the supply will be locked in the NFTs. It can never see the light of day. It can never touch the liquidity pool in a traditional sense. So that's a huge chunk. You've then got these huge staking rewards. So it actually perversely offers, it's designed in a way that it really tempts you in for the staking option, because if you just want fantastic passive income, Infinity can actually give you that. But how committed to these passive rewards are you going to be if it's pumping times 2, times 3, if it's jumping 20% every 5 minutes, right? And it's only 5% for you to move in and out of the staking pool, and you can do that at will. There's no lockup period. So it really pits the two against each other. So it will offer huge passive income opportunities, but perversely, by chasing passive income, you then lock up also much more supply, which means then the price impact of, the sell pressure is horrendously reduced, right? Because you've got so much less supply out there in the open to be sold down. Therefore, you can expect much more buy pressure, but then, that can flip the other way. It's really pitting the two against each other. It's a very unique system, something that I've never seen done before. But all in all, if, like I say, don't underestimate the LP. If we expect Phoenix Plus to ×5 to ×10 over a 12-month period, and that's a stable backed asset that can only appreciate in value, and that's the LP pair. So yeah, I wouldn't. It's like I said, the volatility will be there, but there should be a trend line that moves in one direction.
I have another question. So, because I think one thing that we can all appreciate through this bear market is even just the average retail investor, right? We're kind of starting to see this common level of education slowly be raised. Like, how like projects joke about a floor price and stuff. Well, we're starting to see like this floor education of it's slowly going up into the right where people are starting to ask more educated questions, and they're looking for more educated things within projects rather than just what's the APY and that's it, right? And one thing we're starting to see a lot of people ask is what's the revenue sources, and I want to take that question one step further with this, right? So instead of just blindly asking you, what's the revenue sources to provide this, because you did kind of go in that already. I have a little MindMeister thing here. I love making little mind maps. And I'm going to type this out as long as you say this, and then I feel like this can be kind of like a really good resource for the MDB community and the Cardinal House as well, if they missed this. But kind of walk me through, right? So I put $100 into Infinity, right? If I just want to do that, walk me through exactly transaction by transaction on where this money goes into the ecosystem, and how does that same money kind of like feed everything else and until it gets right back to me. Does that make sense? Like as soon as I buy the $100, a portion of the taxes goes here, a portion goes, what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, Austin. I love it. I think there's probably, it'd be great for you to develop like some sort of playbook. Like, one of the questions is how much of what's raised is actually going into the protocol, right? There's a big protocol that went tits up very recently where it's 50%. Like, come on, guys. Half, right? You're in a bear market, and it said above the door. It wasn't a secret. It said, we're going to take $1 from you. We're going to take 50 cents, put it somewhere else, and then we're going to put 50 cents in the protocol. And now we're going to give you a token that says it's worth $1. Right? So I don't want to go on my soapbox, and I think you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, these are exactly the sort of questions that they're not fucking rocket science, but they are the questions that we should be asking rather than, hey, is the team doxed? It doesn't matter. You can be doxed and incompetent. There's some fundamental questions we should be asking. I think this is a great one. So to cut to the chase and answer your question. So if you're buying Infinity, you will buy it with a 5% tax, right? It's a very pure system, actually. We've designed this intentionally because the last thing you want is there's volatility. It's an AMM. It pitches people against each other whilst it has these fantastic mechanisms around it. But that means that for Austin to win, maybe, maybe Wayne loses, right? And actually Wayne lost trying to take Austin's money. Remember, yeah, he wasn't there. He wasn't just sat on a park bench minding his own business. He was trying to take Austin's money, but he lost, right? And so you buy it. The 5% tax is split. 40% goes into the LP because the LP will be taxed. The LP is the appreciating token that it's paired with. And then 60% of the tax will go into the Infinity Fund. But remember, I'm saying 60-40, but it's still 60-40 of only 5% of the buy or sell tax. The Infinity Fund is invested into investment, and the return on investment from those investments is split two ways. And also the fund itself, right? So there's already a fund there from the pre-sale, and that's going to appreciate in value. So the appreciation from the original fund already, plus also the taxes that are coming in, all go into this Infinity Fund melting pot. And then the profits or any appreciation from that fund will be used for two things. One, the funds will be used to go into MDB, procure MDB tokens, and then distribute those MDB tokens out to people that have decided to stake Infinity or they have one of the staking NFTs. Yeah. The second thing that the funds from the Infinity Fund will do is it will buy Infinity supply from the LP. So that is a capital injection into the protocol, and it will burn everything that it buys. There's no storing up, keeping, redistributing, or anything. Everything it buys is gone, and that's it. There's no so that, you know, and so if you make money, you're making money either because you've bought the token, you've staked it, and you're receiving MDB rewards, and you can sell those MDB rewards on the open market, similar to our NFT and other things, or you're buying Infinity, and ultimately you're trying to buy it at a price and then sell it for a price that's more than what you bought it for, and that's ultimately the system in a nutshell.
Nice. Awesome. So just like you said, there's a 5% tax, just to like reconfirm, there's a 5% tax, and in that tax, it's distributed amongst the Infinity Fund, where the funds go to the MDB to distribute to the stakeholders, or the actual NFTs themselves, the NFT staking, the staking NFTs. Oh my gosh. And then also to buy the LP and then the burn. So then the remaining 95% is everything you buy. Like there's no other fee or anything like that. So then it gets right back to the holder.
No marketing or operations tax or anything
Awesome.
like that.
Okay, sweet.
It all goes directly into the LP, which then pushing up the price of the asset, obviously.
That is great. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I mean, and what's really cool about this too, for everybody listening, right? And I'm not trying to sell MDB. I'm just I'm just talking about my personal experience. And you know, it's really refreshing to have a handful of projects in this DeFi space that's actually working and providing, you know, some type of return and not just failing in a month or a week, whatever. And one thing I've noticed is it's kind of like this slow creep, right? Where MDB is implementing these measures as kind of like a proof of concept. Because what's the main thing? If anybody's been subscribed to me for 5 seconds, I've told people this all the time. The best form of marketing in DeFi is proof of concept, and that's $0. You don't have to pay any for that as a project founder. You just need to build, right? And one thing that I've seen with MDB is in the Xenia suite, right? You can stake your MDB. Literally day one, when I seen that announcement, I staked all of my MDB in there, and it's been working ever since, right? And that staked rewards is not minting MDB; it's from the actual fees and stuff like that when people transact MDB itself. And now we're going to see this proof of concept be taken one level further with Infinity. So I asked you this question. I forgot when it was. I've been in so many AMAs with you, man. They're all blending together. But I asked you this once before. I want to keep asking this, even though it might be a little repetitive, just because for the sake of the audience, is now that you have kind of like this huge capital synergy of all these products. You got MDB, you got MDB Plus, Infinity, Phoenix Plus, MDB Plus, and then the NFTs. What is next? Like, is there any other product you have launched, or are you just like, what's the next major like building block of MDB just to turn you all into a true, DeFi player instead of, people just thinking this is another DeFi project?
Yeah, and we've already started on that journey, to be fair. And I think one of our strengths as a team is real life experience, lots of business experience. I think we just announced Freeway, so our Yield Nodes is our largest partner by sort of capital locked. They've got 400 million. We just announced Freeway is our second largest partner by capital locked. I thought it was 175. They said it's only 152 million locked. EMP, I'd say by capital locked is our third largest. Depending on what day of the week it is, somewhere between sort of 25 and 50 million at any point in time. And so and without being quite objective about it, we're very good. We're very good. That's a really, really probably too arrogant a statement. Our strength lies in building relationships and the fact that we're credible and we've got lots of business experience. And in truth, in our 4 and a bit months that we've been running, we've been, and I hate this word, by the way, because it's become this stupid buzzword in the industry, which I think is an excuse for a crap price, if I'm honest. But we've been building new stuff nearly all of the time. We've always had something coming. I was talking to the team today and they were saying, what do we do afterwards? And I was like, well, actually, what we do after Infinity is we get the people in, actually. Now it's about, in commercial terms, you would call it land and expand. And we've landed, and we landed then stable backed assets. We then landed Xenia, and now we're landing Infinity, and now it's time to expand. And we've got a huge toolkit then to take that. So I had a couple of calls today with 2 different exchanges that are keen on listing various parts of our ecosystem on their exchanges. People can start to see the value. They see the TVL lock, the volume that we're generating. And now the stepping stones to seeing our products in more places starts to become much more realistic. Then I think, given the time to be much more proactive on that stuff and dedicate myself to it, then I'm confident that we can continue to punch above our weight. If we can sign up partnerships of 150 million, people doing 400 million, then the next step is to sign up partnerships of people that have got 1 billion, 2 billion, 5 billion. And that's the journey that we need to go on. We've got the data. We've got something that's proven, like you say, a proof of concept. And now we need to double down on that. And that's really our strategy next. We've got the B2B solutions, which enables us to find, when we go into a conversation, we're not just saying, oh, let's have a joint AMA. It'd be nice to say we like you and you like us. There's very tangible things that we can do for other protocols. And there's very tangible things that other protocols can also do for us. And there's a number of different ways where we can work together for our mutual benefit for projects of all sorts of scale. So it's very much about expanding. We call it Synergy Solutions. That's our B2B suite, which has been delivering, significant revenues for us since we started. And then once we've established scale within Synergy Solutions, our goal is then to pivot into real world applications around finance and payment solutions, leveraging the experience that we've got, because there's real world businesses who have very similar capital ratios and behaviors as what you see within DeFi projects, actually, and they get a very raw deal in sort of mainstream finance. So that's the journey that we're going on. But I really look forward to doing what I'm good at, actually, which is going out, knocking on doors, building relationships. And actually, you look at our ecosystem, the way it's performed, it really should have 20, 30,000 holders. And that's what the next phase is really about.
Bro, I love it. I love it. And I'm going to hand the mic back over to Zach here, but just to let everybody know, it's pretty cool seeing Danny work, I guess, secondhand, because you don't have to say anything, Danny, if you don't want to, but it's something pretty cool that I hooked him up to. I don't know if it's going to work out or not, come to fruition, but it's pretty exciting. I'm excited to see it work for MDB if it does go through. little early alpha there.
Yeah, no, we're trying to push that through because we've got Infinity and we're trying to diversify sort of our options. But yeah, but that's great as well, because I think many people, whether it's our team, whether it's people like you, Austin, you introduced us. Actually, there's even some of our largest holders that I know are here today, and they've been really instrumental in some of our journey. They've made really valuable connections for us, but then they've been able to see the way we execute once we spot an opportunity. And all of the language I'm using with my team at the moment is that we wake up every day, and it's, in football terms, you would say it's 0-0, even if you're winning the game 3-0. In business terms, we wake up, it might be all-time high in the chart, but we behave like it's all-time low, like we're hungry, like we've got 99.9% ahead of us and only 0.1% behind us. And that's where we are. And, if we waste our time moaning about things that we can't control, then you're finished. And so we just focus on, we'll execute at the best of our abilities, and we won't make a lot of noise about things that are out of our control.
Yeah. I mean, when you give value to people, right, that's just a business thing in general, not even specific to crypto. When you give value to such a tremendous extent, people are going to want to just naturally do it, right? Like with nothing in return. They just want to help, right? Because they see somebody succeeding, they see somebody actually doing some good, and they're just like, I just want to help in any way I can. So you can really see that with exactly what you said. But yeah, I'll hand the mic back over to Zach. I don't want to talk because I could talk MDB all day. Back to you, Zach.
No, it was a great conversation. And kind of building on top of that, I just have 2 questions before we can turn it over to the audience. But you mentioned building out like financial solutions in traditional finance too, in the real world business, not just DeFi. I'm curious to hear your thoughts as far as the ecosystem that you have built out now, and kind of Infinity being that final piece of the puzzle. How is that going to bridge over into providing those real world financial solutions in traditional business?
Infinity won't, if I'm completely honest. I think maybe there's a bridge into, probably more sort of like high risks types of industries. But we think about managing capital and actually, real world business running on it. I don't want to give too much away, if I'm completely honest, Zach, because this industry is just full of an army of plagiarizers who parrot things that other people say, and it's a short story to try and get people to stick with them. And we've got very clear plans. The people that matter close to me understand those plans and the size of those ambitions. And let's just say there's learnings. If we can scale, I still have question marks there. I always say, people say, what are you going to do in 5 years? Well, actually, I'm going to learn so much in 6 months' time that I might have quite a different view. I understand how successful we want us to be, but exactly what that looks like, we need to be open to pivot on that journey. And I think we've got a lot of learning to do over the next. That's why it's in 3 phases, really. What we're doing now is just coming towards the end of phase 1. What we do next is phase 2. If we execute phase 2, then phase 3 becomes much more a reality. But I'm sure we'll learn a lot on phase 2, and then maybe phase 3 looks slightly different as a result.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And I'm not asking you to give out specific examples, but I'm more so, I guess, asking for a little bit of clarity on how the DeFi ecosystem that you've built up, how real world people can utilize that, or integrate that with their industries or businesses. Is there anything that you could say on that, or am I asking for too much alpha?
The only way I could answer that question is by giving you our concept. And
gotcha.
Look, we're not PhD students or anything like that, I think, but we do have life experience, and we see problems, and we see there's a huge amount of opportunity within blockchain. The sheer efficiency of it, and it will be the future. Systems today are just completely archaic, and leveraging smart contracts and blockchain technology is definitely the future. I think quite often the people that are very good on the blockchain and smart contract side maybe don't have so much experience in the real world, in the clunky real world, and the people in the clunky real world, can't imagine anything any different. So I'm hoping that we can just bridge the two through our experience of both.
Okay, I think that's a good little drop of alpha, or sneak peek into what your overarching vision is. I like it though. That definitely makes sense. And I've had experience in the clunky real world for a brief time before moving into the fast is a very big understatement, fast moving DeFi world.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's definitely a big change. And then the last question I had, going back to Infinity, I know a big draw to it is that it's paired with Phoenix Plus, the appreciating stable asset. How does that work? What's the dynamic between Phoenix Plus and MDB Plus? How do those mechanics differ? And I guess I just don't have a full understanding of what Phoenix Plus totally is yet.
Yeah, let me explain. So if you think of MDB Plus takes a really small tax in, very small tax, even smaller tax out. It's only 1% in total both ways. And that tax is deposited into the LP, which means that the LP is always 100% plus $1 of all of the circulating supply. So, and that's why it can never go down in value. Whether you buy or sell it, the price can only go one way in the contract. The problem, it's a brilliant innovation which we've built on top of. It was from an organization called Surge. It was called XUSD. They launched it about October, November last year. The flaw of it is that you look at it and very quickly it delivers really high APY. Now, if I said to you, Zach, give me $10,000. And I'm going to put it in something that's going to deliver you 40% growth that can never go down in value, and there's zero risk. you're never going to move that $10,000 anywhere else, right? You're just going to leave it there as long as you possibly can. But that's the problem with that, is that you need volume to drive the APY of MDB plus. And so we've got some capital. So one thing you can do is you can create utility for that, which is what we've already started to do, which has helped with the APY. Another thing you can do is put limitations in terms of the amount of static capital that you can have within the contract, and we have those those functions within MDB Plus that don't exist within XUSD. So that's the innovation that we built on top of it. And then another thing you can do is then build it into your own ecosystem. So MDB Plus was the token that you would use to buy our NFTs when they minted. And actually, Phoenix Plus is a similar system. However, you can be cashed out at any value at any time. And cashed out doesn't mean your money is gone. It just means that you're going to get pushed out of Phoenix Plus, and you'll have BUS. Well, if you get cashed out, you get cashed out into MDB Plus, actually. So it's a much higher tax in. It's 2% in, it's 2% out, which drives a really high APY. But as we know, if you've got really high APY, you're even less likely to want to move that money out. So the contract has a function where it's able to cash you out, and it will cash you out at random. Some people have never been cashed out, and they've made 25% in 7 weeks. One guy who's one of our largest holders got cashed out, I think about $7,000-8,000 twice in like 10 days, and he was fuming. But he's gone back in. He's gone back in because actually, whilst he was super unlucky and his exposure was a couple of percent, in truth, if he hadn't been cashed out, then it'd be 24% up, right? Where else can you find that? And then you add other things, other utilities, like then Phoenix Plus being the pair. You've got this system where Phoenix Plus itself is very attractive, but we can force volume by randomly cashing people out. You've also then got this volume coming from Infinity, which will also be driving the APY because it pays taxes into it. But it also benefits because the growth of it is growing the floor price of Infinity. But then you've got this volume. So I'll be very surprised if we don't shoot back up to $1 million in Phoenix Plus fairly quickly after Infinity launches. If we don't, it's not the end of the world. It just means the APY will be absolutely insane. But if we shoot up to $1 million, there's no reason why we don't have $50,000 a day being cashed out from Phoenix Plus into MDB Plus, and then you've got this force volume. So that's really how they all work together.
I think that's brilliant. Forcing that volume to drive up those APYs and make the ecosystem run smoothly. I think that is really brilliant. I don't think I've heard of any other projects that have built that intricate of a well-oiled machine of an ecosystem, I should say.
Well, most cool. So you have like most systems, and we also use this as well. Actually, we use arbitrage as another option in your repertoire to drive appreciation of a stable backed asset. So we also use that as well. So we have a compound effect of all of those different things. And that's what most people do. It's becoming much more common. You know, the whole bribe system like Sphere. There's another organization I spoke to today have a similar system, you know, like Curve and stuff like that, where you use bribes, but then the bribes actually drive volume to a certain asset. They're much more common sort of ways, but ours is slightly different.
Got it. No, that's super interesting. But yeah, a couple community questions that we had. We got one from Kurt. So he asks, on the Infinity white paper for the NFTs, it says that you will basically be getting the same as buying 1K or $1,000 worth of the Infinity token for the NFT mint. So my question is, if I had 1K to invest into Infinity, what would the difference between buying the NFT versus the token be?
Well, the difference is that the token is very liquid, and is nowhere. So the plus side is very liquid. That can also be a downside, right? So the fact that you can't be tempted into selling half of your NFT means that maybe you hold longer and therefore you see better return on investment because you don't get teased into a short pump, right? But on the flip side, it also means that if you wanted to capitalize on half of the value of your tokens, then you would be able to do that. However, there's 10 million tokens at the start. There will be millions of tokens for some time at least, and there's no artwork associated to them either. So the value stack for the tokens is just very different to the value stack for the NFTs. And if we're in a position where, you know, say Infinity times 10 over the first, say, 3 months, and then holds, or maybe even more than times 10, but say it holds a floor of times 10 after 3 months, then how valuable is that NFT going to be? Not only because it's really rare, but also because of the amount of infinity that's locked in it, and you've only retained all of that infinity because you couldn't start to sell bits off.
All right, interesting. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Next question from Prestige Worldwide. Could we ever expect inter-Xenia swaps with lower taxes between ecosystem tokens?
Inter-Xenia swaps, definitely an option, but I suppose the question would be, does it drive more volume? Because if it's great for the user but bad for the protocol, then ultimately it's bad for all the users, because that's where the value from the protocol and the rewards for all of the users come from. So I think if we had the data where we could see that actually it doubled the number of transactions whilst maybe it reduced your tax take by 30%, then there's a business case, because everybody is stronger as a result of it. If it doesn't really increase your transactions but reduces your taxes by 50%, then people are pissed off because the staking rewards are half. The farm doesn't look attractive anymore. People stop providing liquidity for the protocol. Well, but it's okay because you've got inter-Xenia swaps. Then it's probably been a curse rather than a blessing. So that would have to be considered really carefully.
Got it. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. There's a fine line between benefiting the protocol and benefiting the users.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful when you change something, right? When you buy into something, like changing the tax. I'll tell you something, actually. So here's a story that most people don't know, but one or two people know. We were so close to having to change our taxes to get listed on CoinGecko. They just kept pushing back on us. And I don't know what it really was, because they've listed loads of tokens with higher taxes than ours. And anyway, so we didn't really know, but it got to the point where we were working with a consultant who said that they're telling us you need to move your taxes to 8 and 8, I think it was. And I was really struggling with that, because you move into a system and you accept things as they are. I use the example, I was talking about liquid capital. Okay, with 50% of the cash they raised wasn't going in the protocol, but they did tell everybody, right? And nobody in this space should be children spending their parents' money. Everyone should be an adult, right? They did tell everybody that. So, it should have been assessed as high risk, in my opinion, if you're moving into that. However, if you go into something and they change what it says over the door after they've taken your money, and I understand sometimes you've got to make those changes because you've got to think of the bigger picture, but I do really, really struggle with that. So I think you've got to be mega careful when you start shifting the rules.
Yeah, it's tough. It's not an easy decision either way, because a lot of people, what you put in the white paper is almost like it's law in crypto. Like, that's what you're telling your holders, and that's what you're promising them. And if you're changing that on a dime on them, that's, in my opinion, not really fair for the end user. So it's tough. It's definitely tough.
Definitely.
Let's see. Austin Clark asked, who can drop a question to stump Danny? And watch me Nene ask, why isn't Mina the CEO?
Because she can't count.
She can't count?
No, it's an in-joke. Sorry, I'm sorry, mate. You need to come and spend a couple of days in our community, because we've got so many little in-jokes. She made a couple of mathematical errors, so it's just a bit of a joke. But why isn't she the CEO? Well, when she launches Baby Mina Doge, you can buy into that, and I think it's 99% taxes. You'll have fun. Watch me, Nene. You don't know what's going on, do you, mate? These are all in jokes. Everybody else knows what I'm talking about.
I feel bad. There's so many different projects that we have coming on for AMAs, and keeping up to date with them and spending time in the communities is just.
I'll put it to a community vote. If Mina wins the vote, then bon voyage. She can have it.
You heard it here, folks. MDB is about to dissolve this easy.
Big management, power games.
Oh, that's funny. We got one last question, and then we're gonna move into a fun little game if you're game for it. Nico asks, at what levels would The Godfather consider Infinity to be undervalued?
There'd be people would have made a lot of money if they'd followed that advice. And you know, Infinity is extremely difficult, next to impossible, for it to survive under its launch price. So I would. I don't like saying, because it's really irresponsible. But what I would say is that when you buy Infinity, buy it with your eyes open. Yeah, don't close your eyes and press trade because you've got FOMO. Yeah, if it's going up, it's going to come down. How down and how up, who knows? But that's the game. But at least if you do it with your eyes open, then you can take responsibility for your own decisions. But I think I can definitely talk long term, because you've got sort of like the economic and mathematical factors. I think somebody did ask me, they said, do you think it can times 20 in a year? And my answer was that I would be devastated if it hadn't times 20 within 12 months.
Interesting. Yeah, it's always hard to. It's an awkward situation to give a value to your own token and tell people that publicly. It's definitely not something that, if it goes the wrong way, not something that you want to be held accountable for.
Well, the massive variable, right, is the decisions that the team has within their power that they can make after you start. You know, I decide the taxes are going to be 20%. I decide I'm going to start moving funds around. You decide that I don't know, I'm going to have, let's have a V2 2 weeks later, and then another one. It's just, all of that stuff saps energy, I think. So I think the good thing about MDB is that I think I would hope, somebody told me a couple of days ago, I shouldn't say this, but I'm feeling playful. Someone told me a couple of days ago that everybody in the industry thinks I'm a douchebag. And this guy is like one of the biggest douchebags ever. So if you hear, fuck you. But in truth, I think maybe I can come off as a bit of a douchebag sometimes, because it's a really high stress space, and you have to have really thick skin and stick to your guns, to stick to your plan if you really believe in it. And MDB has really stuck to our plan, even when it's been difficult. It would have been so tempting to like YOLO the trust fund into MDB in search of like some positive news when it was really hard, and we haven't done that. So I think one thing with us, whether you think I'm a douchebag or not, I think you can look at our track record, and our track record has been of 9 out of 10 decisions have been right, and maybe 8 out of 10, and I think that will always have the single biggest impact on the performance of any organisation.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense, but that's funny. But yeah, the little game that I had in mind was 2 truths and 1 lie about the MDB team. But since we just have you here, I was going to maybe have Mina come up with some questions about herself, you, and then Apex before we started. But that unfortunately didn't get to happen. So I'm just going to put you on the spot here. So that might actually be a bit more fun. So
2 truths, 1 lie.
2 truths, 1 lie. We'll put it in the AMA polls questions channel, so the community can vote on it as well.
Where is this? How do you talking about these polls and I can't see them? Where are they?
It's a few channels above the AMA stage.
Oh, right. I'm so stupid. Right, I can see it now. Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, the big one. So, two lies, 1 truth, or 2 truths, 1 lie?
2 truths, 1 lie. So just like say 3 statements about yourself. One of them is a lie, and then I'll type them out, and then people can react to which one they think is the lie.
Okay. Okay. So 2 truths, 1 lie. Number 1, I have skydived.
All right.
Number 2, I started trading crypto in 2019 and made about $250,000 on ETH.
All right.
And number 3, I've run 4 marathons, all of them under 3 hours.
All right. Just finalizing the message. And then, so if people can react when they think the lie is, we'll give it a couple minutes. Everybody thinks it's skydive right off the bat.
Including me. I'm calling skydive.
All right, Austin, you should get your 2 truths and 1 lie ready. I'm putting you on the spot too.
Okay.
And maybe I should do you think I should get some ready too, or?
The skydive. Why does everyone think skydive is the biggest lie? I'm curious. Maybe I could ask you because you thought it was a lie. So, Austin, I'm interested to know like your assessment of these 3 and why you thought that was a lie and why you think the others are true.
Well, so I do know a little Danny trivia, and I remember you talking forever ago how you made money in Dogecoin, and you started trading crypto, made 250. That's like a really exact number, and if you traded stuff like that, maybe you traded Ethereum as well. So I'll say you've been a pretty successful trader. And then as far as 4 marathons, all in under 3 hours, you look like you have a good runner build. I would say you're a runner. So, and that's also pretty specific with a quantifiable thing, but you could be also saying that to throw me off. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It looks like all the votes are in, so enlighten us. What's the lie?
Well, I think because it's evenly spread, I did a good job of throwing people off the scent, I would say.
I'd say so.
So I have skydived only the once.
Oh.
It was amazing, by the way. Like anybody do it, but I feel like if I do it twice, I'll be tempting fate. So I've only done it the once. 2, started trading crypto, made 250K. No, absolutely not. No, there's no truth in that whatsoever. I bought Doge because a guy said so on the internet, and I had some Bitcoin from before, and I just bought some, and I was bored, and I knew nothing about what I was doing, quite frankly. And 3, yeah, I've run 4 marathons, all of them under 3 hours. That's true. Yeah.
Interesting. I have never ran a marathon before, and I certainly would not do it in under 3 hours. But yeah, Austin, you are up next.
All right. I'm going to keep, so for the Cardinal House OGs, I'm going to keep one of them the same because I'm really proud of this one. But you're not going to know what it is. All right. Are you ready, Zach?
I'm ready.
All right. 2 truths and a lie. So the first one is I have drove a Lamborghini.
All right.
Number 2 is I am a level 3 combatives expert.
A combatives expert?
Yes.
I hope I spelled that right. All right.
Probably did. And number 4 is I played spades with John Cena.
All right. I have my answer ready. I have my answer ready. I'm calling BS on number 2. I have no idea what's a Combatos expert.
I'm calling
man.
BS on number 3. He's like a ninja.
Okay, I
Wait,
sent you
what's the proper word to?
You had to spell it right.
I totally.
He's
How do
probably
I phrase
level
it?
7. It's a trick.
Level 7.
How do I even phrase that? I put Austin as the level 3 Combatos. I'm not sure what that means. Like, is it Combatos? Is there anything after Combatos?
No, I sent you how to spell it. It's
Combatives.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I read toes or heard toes. That makes sense. I'm calling.
Kurt.
I'm confused. I don't know if it's 2 or 1. I'm gonna go with 2.
I did the Danny approach.
All right. Well, it looks like all the votes are in. So Austin, let us know.
Number 1.
Number 1. Okay.
I have never drove a Lambo. So that was tied. So we had 9 on Lambo and 9 on John Cena.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember the John Cena one from the Kahoot we did a few weeks back. So I knew that wasn't BS, but if I didn't know that, I probably would have picked that one.
Bad at thinking of things on the spot about myself, so I had to just copy one. Really, really unoriginal. Yeah, combatives is kind of like how you have like different fighting styles in like karate, jiu-jitsu, that type of thing. So in the military, we have our own fighting style called combatives, and I'm a level 3. So it's like kind of like how in karate you have like different belts. So we just say level 1, 2, 3, that type of thing.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, do either of you guys want to go again? Maybe the community can vote.
I want to hear some stats.
You want to hear some from me? All right, I'm gonna have to come up with something. I'll type them up, but in the meantime,
Should have asked Cena to let you drive his Lambo.
What's that?
He said should have asked Cena to let you drive his Lambo. Danny, I am pleasantly surprised about the marathon. 4 marathons in 3. I knew you had a runner's build. I seen it.
I'm not got a runner's build. I'm so fat. Not at all.
Maybe you know, shoulder up, you look like a runner.
Honestly, if they could have like weight graded championships, I would literally be like Olympic champion. Such a chubber. And you even like sometimes I see people in like when I used to race more, like I could tell they were looking at me out the corner of their eye because they're like literally like a racing snake, and I'm like running alongside next to him. No, I'm definitely not. I'm a fraud.
You're a fraud. I need to be indoctrinated into the UK culture. I love how you guys slam on each other. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you can't be sensitive around these parts. Very good. Very good. So are we doing Zach then?
Yes, yeah. I'm about to send the message. Just gotta get the reactions ready. But yeah, we're good to go. All right. These are random. Number 3, unfortunately, that might have happened.
That is so funny.
But yeah.
All right, I'm going with number 2.
You're going with number 2?
I'm going with number 2. I know you like bowling, but I don't think you've bowled on TV.
Okay.
Which I'm also really bad at this game, so nobody copy me.
We'll see.
No 10 B&B buys yet, so I'm pretty upset.
Sorry to disappoint. There was a couple. There's one for $250.
Hey, we're green in the last 24 hours, though. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a couple of big-ish sales today because we were sort of all-time high this morning. So people
That's
take the profit.
healthy. That's healthy.
You guys
What do
are
you
trending.
say? What do you say, Danny? As far as
I
which
say
one's the
I went
lie?
for bold live on TV, but I'm also terrible at this game.
All right. Well, the lie is that my friend is an arm wrestling world champion. He got
I knew
second place in the world. Technically a lie.
You're lucky your friend's
I,
got big guns, otherwise I'd be upset.
you would be surprised. It doesn't look like it. It's massive, but the dude has just like the most dense bicep ever. And you could try arm wrestling him with 2 arms and using all your force and like even like taking your feet off the ground, and he can hold you up just with his bicep. It's insane. Yeah, Austin, that'd be a good match for you. An arm wrestling match.
arm wrestling. All right, like dude, arm wrestling is like fighting, right? It's all about form. I've seen people that are jacked get beat by just average looking people.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. And I have gotten disqualified from the Cardinal House push-up contest, but we don't talk about that.
He did. The true story.
Yeah, Austin was just too scared that I'd beat him, so he disqualified me.
You're right.
But yeah.
Hey, I do want to tell everybody as we're wrapping things up here, tomorrow. So if anybody is interested in if anybody is interested in bot trading, I've been alluding to a lot of returns, showing a lot of returns in the Cardinal crew chats and stuff, because that's one of the benefits, right? You get to see anytime I make money, sell, buy, anything like that. There has been trading bots that I've been using for, and next week will make a month now. And I will be hosting a tutorial / setup class for anybody that wants to join, be a part of that, join as well, have your own bot set up. It's really easy, but it can be a little intimidating. So tomorrow, noon EST, just go to the little events tab. I just dropped it in the AMA questions. You can click the little interested button and you will not miss it.
Nice.
What time?
Yeah.
Sorry. And that's cool. Yeah, definitely. That's really interesting. Yeah, thanks, mate. Good plug.
Yeah. Well, I had a few people messaging me like, oh my gosh, like, how do you connect this API and all these crazy terms? And because it can seem really intimidating. I was literally spending like 3 hours myself because I was so clueless. But after I did it, I was like, oh, okay, this is easy. So you can follow along with me and set it up if you guys want to set some up too.
Very good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So tomorrow at noon Eastern. Yeah, Danny, is there anything else that we didn't get to touch on, or any last
I
words?
suppose one thing we didn't touch on, a shameless plug. If you are interested in Infinity after my very enthusiastic pitch, there are many different ways that you can get on the whitelist for Infinity. One is numero uno. Come and join the Millionaires Club. You have to buy about $500 worth of MDB-ish. Apologies for any background noise. There's children in my house. So you have to buy around about $500 of MDB, and you get access to the Yacht Club. There's loads of other benefits I won't bore you with now, but you do also get whitelist access to Infinity, and you get a 1K allocation for that. If you want to get a 5K allocation for Infinity, then you have to become a VIP in MDB, and that means you have to own more than 1 million tokens of MDB. So there's only about 110 of those people in existence. If you want a 10K allocation, you can become page 1 of MDB, and that means you need to probably go and part ways with about $35,000 right now in MDB. If you do that, then you get yourself a $10,000. Otherwise, we're giving away about 20 places a day through games, giveaways, bounties, things like that. And then we're also working with a couple of partners as well. So I'm actually doing an AMA in a few hours with EMP. And if you're a VIP within EMP, then you can get a whitelist for MDB.
Yeah, and the Millionaires Club, just everybody that maybe is not a part of the Millionaires Club yet, it really is really valuable, right? Like, there's a lot of things that even just encompasses, like they do. I really love the the mindfulness little events they do, like with mental health and stuff. Like I really, really like that. They got a really good person there that is probably an asset to MDB at this point with all the classes where, she teaches different things with like your mental health and stuff. Cause if you don't keep that in check in this crypto world, you can go crazy. And then obviously you get access to the Millionaires channel and talk to other millionaire members. And it really is like, you're kind of a part of a little bit more of a closed off group with like-minded people. And that really does help in this space. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, that is super cool. Super cool. But yeah, I mean, Danny, appreciate you taking the time to chat with us about the upcoming Infinity launch. I know a lot of people are super stoked for it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes for you guys. Austin, appreciate you coming on stage with me to help ask some questions. And then to the audience, I know you guys taking an hour out of your day to listen to what we have to say. Like that is very, very humbling that you would take your valuable time to listen to what we have to say. So I really appreciate it.
Definitely. Great stuff. Cheers, guys.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Have a good weekend, everybody.